Okay, let's unpack this. You know that feeling. You start dreaming big. Maybe it's a house, a wedding, college for the kids.
That excitement.
Yeah. But then, bam, that excitement can kind of curdle into anxiety pretty fast. The whole, how are we actually going to pay for this thing?
Absolutely. It's where those big dreams hit the financial reality. And that gap can feel, well, huge, overwhelming.
Exactly. But what if planning didn't have to feel like that? What if you could feel, I don't know, more in control, confident even?
That's the goal.
So that's what we're diving into. We're looking at SideBySide's guide, Plan Big Expenses Without Stress, our mission today, to pull out the really practical, actionable stuff to help you tackle those goals without, tearing your hair out.
And it's super relevant right now. I mean, think about inflation. The World Bank had it at 8% globally back in 2022. That hits everything.
Right. Costs just keep going up.
Plus, you've got changes in how we work, like the gig economy, student loans weighing people down. And let's not forget the cultural pressure, what we see online.
Oh, definitely. The comparison trap.
Yeah. And financial literacy. S&P found only about a third of adults globally really get it. So getting these planning skills, it's not just nice, it's pretty essential now.
Totally agree. So our aim here is simple. Give you practical strategies, real insights, so you can navigate these big money moments with confidence. No confusing jargon, just clear steps.
Okay, so first, let's maybe talk about the feelings involved. Because financial planning isn't just spreadsheets, is it?
Not at all.
Thinking about big money, big goals, it brings up stress, fear maybe, fear of failing, for some people even guilt or shame about past money stuff.
That's such a crucial point. And there are these mental traps we fall into, right? Like present bias.
That pull towards what feels good right now.
Yeah, like I want that fancy coffee now versus I want that house deposit later. And our brains often pick now.
They really do. And then there's lifestyle inflation. You get a raise.
I've been a bit more.
Exactly. And suddenly you're spending everything you earn, even though you earn more. You're no closer to the big goal. It's like running on a treadmill, financially speaking.
Yeah, good analogy.
And we touched on comparison culture. Social media especially. You see these perfect-looking lives, amazing weddings, holidays. It creates this subtle pressure, doesn't it, to spend maybe more than we should.
It's so easy to get sucked in.
Yeah.
Keeping up with the digital Joneses.
So, okay, how do we fight back against these mental blocks?
Well, a really key first step, SideBySide highlights this, is to visualize your goal. Like really clearly, what is it? But maybe even more important, why do you want it?
The why.
Yeah. Connecting with that deep why is like your anchor. It keeps you going when things get tough.
That makes total sense. If you can really picture it, feel why it matters, you're more likely to stick with it. What else?
Practicing mindful spending, so actually paying attention to when and why you make those impulse buys. Are you stressed, bored?
Identifying the triggers. Exactly. Know the triggers, then you can make more conscious choices. And also, build financial confidence. Celebrate the small wins.
Like saving for a weekend trip.
Perfect example. Doing that shows you can save, you can hit a goal, and that feeling builds momentum for the bigger stuff.
I like that. Small wins fuel big wins. Okay, so we've got the mindset piece. Let's get practical. SideBySide lays out this 7-step blueprint. Step 1, define the expense clearly.
Sounds obvious, maybe, but it's fundamental. You gotta ask, what's the exact number? Like, realistically, what's the deadline? Is any part of it flexible, negotiable?
And they use a good example of wedding budget, say 15 lakh rupees, breaking it down, venue 4 lakh, catering 3 lakh, photos 1 lakh, miscellaneous, a big chunk 7 lakh.
Right. Seeing it broken down makes it less terrifying.
Exactly. And sometimes just defining it makes you realize, whoa, hang on, there are hidden costs here. Or maybe even, is this really what I want to spend on?
That's a great point. So once it's defined, step 2 is set a SMART goal. Most people know SMART, but quick recap.
Yeah, sure. Specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound.
So not just save for a laptop, it's save 1 lakh rupees for a new laptop by December 31st. Specifics matter.
And measurable is key, right? So you can actually track how you're doing.
Precisely. Which leads nicely into step 3. Analyze your current finances. This means taking a really honest look. What's coming in each month? After tax? What are the must-pays? Rent, transport, and then where's the rest going? Eating out, subscriptions, fun stuff.
This can be the scary bit for some people, I think, facing the numbers.
It can be, yeah. But SideBySide mentions tools that help, like budgeting apps. YNA, Mint, Good Budget. They mentioned Spendy is popular in South Asia, which is useful.
Right. These apps can kind of automate the tracking and show you clearly where things stand.
Get that picture, then you move to step 4, create a savings plan. Now you figure out, okay, how much do I need to put aside each month to hit that goal by the deadline?
And they give that simple formula, which I like. Total cost minus what you already have saved divided by the months you have left. That's your monthly target.
Simple but powerful. And their tip, automate it. Set up an automatic transfer to a separate savings account.
Yes. Out of sight, out of mind. Removes the temptation.
It really does. Okay, step 5, explore cost-cutting or income-boosting strategies. Time to get creative.
So cutting costs, like canceling gym memberships you don't use, making lunch instead of buying it, using public transport more.
Exactly. Small changes add up. And on the other side, boosting income. Maybe some freelance work, selling stuff you don't need anymore, turning a hobby into a side hustle, baking, art, tutoring.
Every little bit helps push you towards that goal faster.
Absolutely. Now, step 6 is super important, often overlooked. Prepare for emergencies.
Ah, the emergency fund.
Yes, SideBySide really stresses this. Build up an emergency fund like 3 to 6 months of essential living costs before you go all in on the big goal. It's your safety net.
Makes sense. You don't want a car repair or a medical bill to completely derail your house deposit savings.
Exactly. That fund protects your progress on the big goal. And finally, step 7, track progress and adjust.
Right. Because life happens. Plans need tweaking.
Check in regularly. Are you on track? Do you need to save more or maybe cut back somewhere else? Use spreadsheets, apps, a notebook, whatever works for you. And they say, importantly, celebrate the milestones.
Yeah, keep that motivation up. Okay, that's the blueprint. But SideBySide also talks about specific tools and techniques to make it easier.
Yeah, tools can really help with the day-to-day. For basic budgeting, they mention Google Sheets templates, great if you like customizing things.
Okay.
Then apps like Pocket Guard, that one focuses on showing you what's genuinely safe to spend after bills and savings are accounted for. And Zeta, which is designed for couples managing money together.
Interesting. I also like the mention of the envelope system. It feels a bit old school, but it works, right?
Totally. Whether you use actual cash in envelopes or digital versions, you just allocate set amounts for different categories. They point out it's really helpful if your income fluctuates month to month.
Good tip. And then sinking funds. Can you explain that one?
Sure. It's basically saving specifically for a known future expense that isn't monthly. Like maybe your car insurance is due once a year. Instead of scrambling, you put aside, say, 5,000 rupees each month into a sinking fund specifically for that insurance bill.
Ah, so you break down those big lumpy expenses into smaller monthly chunks.
Exactly. Or saving 10,000 rupees a month for a holiday that's 12 months away makes those big hits much more manageable.
Very practical. And SideBySide uses some real-life examples to show this stuff in action, which I find really helpful. Like that Karachi couple planning the destination wedding in Hunza, 20 lakh rupee budget.
Yeah, what stood out there was the long-term planning. They started 18 months ahead. That gave them loads of time.
18 months, wow.
They had a joint account saved consistently every month, and they were smart, chose an off-season date, negotiated group discounts for guests, little things that add up.
And the result? They did it within budget, no debt, and less stress. It really shows what planning can do.
Absolutely. Then there's the family buying the car 18 lakh rupees, but wanted to avoid a loan.
How'd they manage that?
They decided to wait an extra year. That gave them time to aggressively save 50,000 rupees a month. They cut back on leisure stuff, took on a side hustle, and they bought smart, too, opting for a nearly new pre-registered car instead of brand new.
And they got the car, debt-free. These stories really drive home that it is possible with a plan and discipline.
Definitely. But, even with a great plan, things can go wrong. SideBySide points out some common pitfalls.
Good to be aware of these, like underestimating the true cost.
Yes, so easy to do. You see the price tag, but forget taxes, delivery, maybe installation, ongoing maintenance.
Right. Suddenly it costs way more than you thought.
Their advice. Add a buffer, like 10%, maybe 15%, just in case. Wise move.
Very wise. Another pitfall, relying too much on credit.
Credit can be useful sometimes, sure, but racking up high-interest debt for big purchases, that can dig a really deep hole and add loads of stress. Use it carefully, and only if you have a clear plan to pay it back quickly.
Makes sense. And for couples or families saving together, poor communication.
Oh, that's a big one. If you're not on the same page about priorities, spending habits, it can cause friction and derail the whole plan. Open, honest talks are key. They even mention apps like Honeydew or Splitwise to help keep things transparent.
Good tools. And the last pitfall they mention, crucial right now, ignoring inflation.
Yeah. That 15 lakh wedding budget, it might be 16 or 17 lakh by the time you actually have the wedding if you don't account for rising prices. You need to revisit your savings targets periodically and adjust for inflation.
Okay, these are really important warnings. Now, SideBySide also tackles some common objections or challenges people face. The counterpoints.
Yeah, like the big one. What if I just don't earn enough to save much?
Right. Feels impossible sometimes.
But the perspective here is, start small. Even 1,000 rupees a month is 12,000 a year. It's about building the habit first. Consistency matters more than the amount, especially at the beginning.
That's encouraging. It's about building the muscle, like you said. What about the idea that planning itself is stressful? All that tracking and budgeting?
Yeah, it can feel like a chore up front,
Yeah.
but they use a great analogy. Planning a road trip.
Okay.
You map the route, packs a car. Takes effort, right? But it means a smoother trip, fewer wrong turns, less stress on the road. Financial planning is similar. A bit of effort now buys you way less anxiety later because you have clarity and control.
I like that. Prep now, relax later. Okay, last one. What if unexpected stuff happens?
Life throws curveballs, right? Medical bills, job loss.
And this loops back to the emergency fund. That's your first line of defense. But also, it's about having some flexibility in your plan. Maybe the timeline needs to shift. It's not about a rigid plan set in stone. It's a roadmap you might need to adjust along the way. Expect the unexpected, basically.
Got it. Be prepared to adapt. So pulling it all together, the main takeaway seems to be big goals don't automatically mean big stress.
Exactly. It's about mindset, watching out for those mental traps. It's about strategy, like that 7-step plan. And using the right tools, put those together. And you really can approach these goals feeling more confident, more peaceful. So whether it's that house, the degree, the dream trip, having a plan means you can actually say yes to these things without feeling like you're sacrificing your future financial health.
Well said. It's about taking charge. Like SideBySide puts it, every rupee you plan effectively today is a potential worry you avoid tomorrow.
Love that. Okay, here's a final thought to leave you with. Think about this. The act of planning, it's not just about hitting a number on a spreadsheet. It's about building this feeling of control, of agency over your own life. What else could you achieve if you took that feeling of control and applied it beyond just your finances?